We're going to start with Bournemouth. Already relegated from the Premier League, of course. They'll be in the Championship next season, and they have begun a search for a new manager for the first time since back in 2012. That's because Eddie Howe has left by mutual consent. Happened late last night, and it's ended a remarkable era for the club, which has seen them rise up through the divisions, spend 5 seasons in the Premier League. But after dropping into the Championship, the task of rebuilding will fall to someone else. Let's join our reporter Mark McAdam now. Mark, a lot of names already being thrown around as potential successors, but what is the club's timeline?
Yeah, of course, everyone immediately, whilst disappointed with the news that Eddie Howe will no longer be in the hot seat here at Bournemouth, already thinking about the future. I've had some dialogue with the football club over the course of the last 24 hours, and they've moved to reassure me that there is going to be no knee-jerk reaction to making this appointment. The owner, Maxim Demin, wants to get this appointment right. He wants to get straight back up to the Premier League at the first time of asking, but he doesn't want to appoint anyone at all. He wants to get this absolutely spot on because it's at a very crucial stage in the club's history, of course, being relegated, particularly in an era post-COVID where financially things are so much challenging. So they've got a board of 4 people that will be making the decision. Owner Maxim Demin, obviously the director of football Richard Hughes, the chairman Jeff Mostyn, as well as the chief exec Neil Blake. So 4 people will be getting together over the course of the next few days to try and decide who they feel will be the right man to take this football club forward. But there'll be no quick decisions made, no knee-jerk reactions. They'll be getting it spot on because it's such a crucial stage in the club's history. In terms of the people that they could be looking at, there's obviously 2 options for Bournemouth. They could look to appoint from within. They've got a whole raft of young, experienced coaching members of Eddie Howe's backroom staff, the likes of Jason Tindall, Stephen Purchase, Steve Fletcher, who's had managerial experience, of course, as well. They could look to appoint from within their academy. They have some ex-players like Mark Molesley, Sean Cooper and Alan Connell that are all coming through the conveyor belt of coaching. Obviously players that have all got experience of playing with this football club. So that is one option they could possibly look to do, and maybe appoint someone like Harry Redknapp, who's managed, of course, has vast experience in some sort of a mentors type role. Or they could look externally. You've got the likes of Chris Hughton, who's had promotions with Norwich and Bristol, obviously Norwich, Brighton down the road, and of course vast experience in the Championship and Premier League. Or someone like Lee Johnson, who's been managing in the Championship for the last few seasons. Again, he would fit the bill, someone that can play attractive football. He's a young manager, ambitious, and that's what they want. Someone with ambition, someone that can play good football, and someone that can take this football club straight back up from the Championship to the Premier League.
Of course, Eddie Howe, Mark, was a popular man in football, but hugely popular with the Bournemouth fans. How much is he going to be missed?
Yeah, absolutely. He said it in his statement that he released on Saturday night that he would now become a fan. And he's always been a fan of Bournemouth, of course. He moved to the area as a young boy. He had this affinity with the football club and the fans, unlike any other manager really. It was back when he rejoined the club for the second time as a player. He only rejoined the club because the fans got together and raised the money to pay his wages, and really ever since then there's been this connection that it's difficult to describe. But every single fan that I've spoken to in and around the stadium this morning, anytime you see anyone talk about him on social media, they have such an affinity for him and the job that he's done. He's put Bournemouth on the map and has well and truly established this football club at the top table of football in this country, where for so many years they'd spent in the lower reaches of the Football League, and you'd speak to someone about Bournemouth and they'd say, where's Bournemouth? Oh, somewhere near Southampton. Not the case anymore. Eddie Howe has almost single-handedly turned this football club into a Premier League side. He kept them there for 5 years, and seeing him leave in these circumstances after relegation will be hurting him and of course the fans, who have such desperate affinity for him and they think so highly of him. Speaking to some of those fans in and around the Vitality Stadium this morning, they were really, really gutted.
The dream was going on and on and on, and it was all down to Eddie, the way he brought the players in. And you know, even when you watch the youth teams, all the teams here play the same way. He brought a philosophy to the football club that is going to be difficult to carry on.
I mean, I had a feeling it was going to happen because he did look physically and mentally drained. I thought he didn't look like the Eddie Howe that we knew, and I think it probably affected the team in the later stages, especially after lockdown.
So that's the thoughts of some of the Bournemouth fans in and around the stadium this morning. And from the fans to the players, and in an era where social media is obviously prevalent, some of the players have taken to social media to give their reaction and say what they thought about the departure of Eddie Howe. One of those players, Callum Wilson, and he tweeted earlier on today, "Forever thankful for everything you've done for me over the past 5 years, Gaffer. You've helped me achieve my dreams, and I'm proud to have played a part in an amazing journey for you. Some great memories that we'll never forget. Good luck on your next chapter." And Junior Stanislas as well has put out an Instagram message with a really nice picture of him and Eddie Howe embracing, saying, "Thank you for everything, Gaffer. You've shown an unbelievable amount of faith in me, signing me not once but twice. I wish you all the best with whatever comes next." And that really sums up the type of affection that the players had for their manager, their former manager now, of course, Eddie Howe, and what he'd done for them. He took them on the most incredible footballing journey that is now at an end.